You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
What's up, YouTube? This is Brandon, Third-Rate Duelist. Going to come at you guys with an updated Invoked Shaddoll deck profile. I'll be up front with you guys. I know in the past I've received a lot of positive feedback over my Shaddoll lists. This one I suspect will probably not get as much positive feedback just because of the way the deck's built. And it has got a heavier brick factor than previous builds I've done in the past, but the way the deck is built right now is to reflect the current meta. And I've been testing it online, and I've seen a pretty good amount of success with it. Granted, I've played against a lot of Rogue and stuff online, but it does fairly well against the top two decks at the moment, in my opinion, which are Eldritch and Rock. I know everything's kind of like online based at the moment, but you know, based on all the online tournaments, those are the two best decks. So I kind of built this to kind of reflect playing against them, and I think it does pretty good. It does have a higher brick factor, and I play this as more of like a combo variant because I don't feel like that automatically loses to Dark Ruler no more. And so like my typical end board going first will be like Avermax with a set Falco or a Doll in hand or a Dark in hand, Link Construct, and a Kalga, sorry, and then I don't know if I said it or not, maybe a Mechaba, depending on how good the opening hand was. But if I didn't open like an Alistar the Invoker and I have a way to normal summon, it'll be like Avermax, Link Construct, and a Kalga with a set Shaddoll Fusion. And I like doing that because then if my opponent Dark Ruler no mores me, I don't automatically lose. After that resolves, when they start trying to special summon, I can use Shaddoll Fusion, make Winda on their turn, and stun them out the next turn, make like a Boral Sword, sorry, and steal the game from there. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start off with 2 Beast. I don't need any more than 2. Draw Power, it's a good card. 2 Squamata. I know a lot of people main deck 3 of this and 3 Windy. I opt to play 2, mainly because you don't want to see multiple copies of the same doll in your hand because they're hard once per turn. So I think 2 and 2 of each is fine. 2 Hedgehog. I think Hedgehog is just as important as Squamata and Windy because I know like the typical starting play is to fuse into Construct with Squamata or Windy, dump the trap, set Aerial, and then link into Cross Sheep. But if you don't open Windy or Squamata, but you open a Hedgehog and you have a way to make Construct, you can fuse into Construct, dump Shaddoll Fusion off Construct or Shaddoll Fusion, whichever one you hadn't used yet, and then search the Windy off the Hedgehog, then link 2 into Alistar the Invoker. I'm still playing him the extra deck because sometimes if you don't open Alistar the Invoker, you can make Invoker of Madness and then Fusion Summon while he's on board, so that way you can make a Kalga. And so sometimes, like if I open the Hedgehog, I'll make the Invoker of Madness first, and then search the Windy, and then link off the Construct and the Invoker of Madness into Cross Sheep, and then start the Cross Sheep plays that way. And that way you can make a Kalga and a Mechaba. But as I was saying, I'm rambling, sorry. Hedgehog is just as important as Squamata and Windy in my opinion, and so I like it a lot. 1 Dragon. I know a lot of people are opting to play 2 of this. It's like the worst main deck Shaddoll to open in my opinion. Like it's worse than Aerial. Like I know if you open Aerial, you can't do the whole combo as where like if you open Dragon you can. But there's some hands depending on what you open where you can still combo off even with Aerial in hand, as long as you can set the Aerial and then do it that way, you can still combo off, as to where Dragon just does nothing to gather your advantage. And at least Aerial banishes cards of the opponent's graveyard, so if you chain Shaddoll Fusion on their turn to make like a Winda and they're starting to set up a grave, you can banish that stuff out. So that's why I have to play 1 of them. I know some people are playing 2, but like Eldritch, all that stuff recurs itself. And so like destroying it doesn't do anything, you need to banish it. So that's why 1 Dragon. 1 Falco. I really like Falco because it goes along with the Link Construct very well. And so it has a cool interaction with the Link Construct because if you have it in hand, you send it to graveyard, throw some of the Link Construct, Falco will then set itself. Then whenever you make Avermax, they can't attack the Falco, even if you Shaddoll Fusion and use the Falco on their turn, because Avermax says you have to attack Avermax. I'm not playing Needle Fiber in the extra deck, so that's not why I play it. I play it because I like Falco, and the recursion it does is good. It's not necessarily as needed with the new stuff, but I still think Falco is pretty good. And then I play 2 Windy and 1 Aerial. As I said earlier, I know a lot of people are playing 3 of this. I just don't think it's necessary. I still main deck 1 Mathematician, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. But Mathematician essentially is any doll to your hand. So it's kind of like a way of getting around of only playing 2 of each, and that way I can kind of build my hand the way I want. And that's it for all the doll monsters. 3, Alistar the Invoker. You need to play 3 of this because you need to search a fusion spell. And then also, if you have, an invocation hand or whatever, that way you can make Mechaba Kalga on their turn if you can link into Alistar the Invoker, so that way you can link into Avermax after that. So anyways, 3 of it because it's necessary, and plus the 1,000 attack and defense buff is really nice if you end on just a window, so that we can kind of protect it. And then I do play 1 Mathematician. There's a few reasons behind this, mainly because you don't always need Alistar, right? He's not the only, he's the best normal summon in the deck, but Mathematician, there's times where if I open both of these, I will opt to play the Mathematician because I want to piece my hand together the way I want it. So dump a Hedgehog to search Windy, or ditch Damage Juggler to search Trick Clown, and things like that. Another reason why I like Mathematician so much is because I'm still playing Clowns, and it's a 1-card Anaconda, because you dump Trick Clown, and Trick Clown will summon itself, and then you link into Anaconda, which is super, super good. Another reason is because that way if you get Buster locked, Buster Whelp locked, you can normal summon Mathematician, dump Dragon, pop Buster Whelp, and then hopefully make some plays. So Mathematician is just, it's very, very good, and it has a lot of utility, so I still like playing it. It's not a doll list to me, personally, if I'm not playing Mathematician, but that's just me. If you guys want, I'm not playing Terraforming in the deck, so you could cut this for Terraforming if you wanted to, but I just hate seeing multiple copies of Alistar in my hand, or multiple Meltdowns, or Meltdown Terraforming, so I was like, I'll play Mathematician, because Mathematician is very versatile. And on to the Clown engine. 2 Trick Clown. So the reason I play 2 of this, and I don't know if a lot of people agree with me, is because you want to see Trick Clown in your opening hand, or you want to search off the Juggler. This is the light monster you want to fuse into Construct with, because it allows you to combo off, all the time. And then that way you can make Mechaba, that way you can make Construct, and that way you can start link climbing into making your Avermax. So it's really good, and the fact that it just brings itself back to make, so that way you can make Anaconda or whatever is just really good. I like playing 2 of it. I don't think 1 is correct. 3, I can see understandably being a bit too much, but 1's just not correct in my opinion. You want to see this card. And then 2 Juggler to go with the Trick Clown. Again, to search Trick Clown, and then sometimes the damage negation comes up every once in a while, but honestly, most of the time, I'd rather see a Trick Clown than a Juggler, but that's just me. But being able to dump, Juggler off Mathematician to search a light's really good. And then I am playing the Gamma package, so the reason I opted to play the Gamma package is because this becomes an extender to you, right? Because a lot of your plays, you can start with a spell card. You can start with Meltdown, you can start with Invocation, you can start with Shaddoll Fusion, and all that. You can start with Foolish Burial. And so you can bait out the Ash Blossom, or whatever hand trap they have that would stop you, with a Gamma, and then it automatically becomes an extender for you. So you go Shaddoll, if I have Gamma and Squamata in hand with the Shaddoll Fusion, I go Shaddoll Fusion, and they Ash it, Gamma, boom, now I've got 2 light monsters on the field. I fuse away 1, which is fine, but now I have another, pretty much link material on the field. So Gamma has several purposes, and then it's also really good for going second, so that way you Gamma the opponent's monster. It gets the monster off the field, which is really good against, Rock and Emancipator, for instance. So this is my hand trap of choice in the main deck, and I'm about to show you guys another set of cards that you could take out if you don't agree with it for, let's say, Nibiru. So if I were to take these next 3 cards out, it would be for Nib. But for now, I'm only playing just the Gamma. It's super good. Gamma has won me so many games. And then I am playing the Neos package in the main deck. Even though I'm not a blind second deck, this has stolen me so many games, right? So I know I'm playing technically, if you count, I don't ever count Neos Fusion as a brick, because I'm never unhappy to see this card in my hand. It's just oh, Neos Fusion, cool. So I'll end my play with Neos Fusion. It's just super good. So if you count the Neos and the Rainbow Dark and the Driver, I'm playing 3 bricks in the main deck, which is why I was kind of telling you guys this is more of a bricky list than ones I've done in the past. But this is just so good. I've stolen so many games with this stuff. Now, I have thought about swapping out the Rainbow Dark Dragon with a Rainbow Dragon. The idea behind the Rainbow Dark Dragon was, oh, hey, it's a dark, so that way I can make Kalga or Window with it. Because Window's just super strong in this format. So I was like, oh, I can make Calgar Window with it. But there's been times where like I opened, you know, the Rainbow Dark Dragon. I was like, man, if this was a Rainbow Dragon, I'd be able to combo off and it'd be super good. But so I went with this, and then Neos Fusion, the protection it has on Rainbow Neos is super good. Like Rainbow Neos is really good. I could talk about that card for a while. It's just stolen me so many games. But if you guys wanted to, if you guys didn't want to play this package, which I would understand because I had to make some cuts I wasn't satisfied with in the extra deck to be able to play it in the main, then you could play Nibiru, and I would show you guys what stuff I would change in the extra if you decide to main deck Nibiru over this. But that's it for monsters. Now on to spells, triple Shaddoll Fusion. It's a fusion deck. You want to see Shaddoll Fusion, really good going second card. 3 Shaddoll Fusion. This card's really good. You know, be able to make wind on your opponent's turn. Still playing only 2 Invocation. I'm not playing Pot of Desires. As you guys could tell from my main deck, I'm not too fond of that card in this deck because I don't like playing against back row. Shaddoll becomes more of a game like pacing your opponent than it does of just trying to break my game state and win. Because of that, I don't like playing Pot of Desires. So because my fear is that I would banish all my needed resources to be able to continue playing the game and potentially win. Granted, I have thought about bumping Invocation up to 3 because even with the way the deck is built now, like, oh man, a 3rd Invocation would be super good right now. Not necessary, but good. So if you wanted to, you guys could play 3 Invocation. I'm honestly not sure what I would cut to play 3 Invocation. That's like main deck space is tight, and so is extra deck space. So that's one of the biggest struggles I've been facing with this deck. But 2 Invocation is adequate. You want to see a fusion spell. So the next is 3 Meltdown because you want to search Alistar because you want to see a fusion spell. And if you already have a fusion spell in hand and a way to make construct, this is just icing on the cake. It's really good. The next, 2 Call by the Grave. I'm not playing 3 of this because I got real tired of seeing multiple copies of this card in my hand. I was like, man, this sucks. I wish this was any other card other than Call by the Grave. And since I'm already main decking the Gamma package already kind of protects you from Ash Blossom. So I didn't feel like 3 Call by the Grave was as necessary. But 2 is good, as I said, because you need to protect your Shaddoll Fusion from hand traps. Next is 1 Foolish Burial because it's any doll and it is any, it's a clown too. Or even worst case scenarios, like if you need to dump an Alistar to banish off Invocation to make a Mechaba, then boom, there's the Alistar engrave. And then 1 of the Trap. This card's really good. I know a lot of the new support I wasn't too fond of, if you ask Gary, when it first came out, but I've grown to really like it. I've grown to really like this card too. And this card's just really good with recycling the Al Capone if you're playing against like a control deck, and so you just focus on keeping resource with this and Al Capone to keep negating stuff until you can gather enough card advantage to try and win. So that's it for the main deck. Main deck space is really tight. It's a 41 card main deck right now. I accidentally put my token in the main deck that I was trying to show off for you guys, my awesome Field Center I've been using lately. Because it's a card I got from my buddy. Sorry, I'll quit rambling. So the main deck is 41 cards right now, and it's real tight. As I said, if you wanted to, you could take out the Neos package. But so here is the first thing you guys are going to probably say is incorrect, but it's fine, and I'll explain to you why. I am still playing 3 Construct. So Gary, bless his little heart, got me 3 Ulti Japanese copies, which I really love. I've been eyeballing Ultis for a little bit, and he goes, hey man, he's like, I know these aren't English Ultis, but here's some Japanese ones, because I know you've been really wanting them. So thank you, Gary, shout outs. These things are awesome. I love them. They look so good. And my locals, like I have a copy, you guys know I have a copy of English copies of it. So my locals like, oh, you got English copies, that's cool, Anyways, as I was saying, a lot of people are playing 2 of this. I think that's incorrect because with the way I'm playing the deck, sometimes you have to burn through 2 constructs to get the combo. And you need the 3rd in those instances to win the game if they break your board and you start going into the grind game. So that's why I play 3. Construct is your beat stick and your extender. And so because of those 2 reasons, I opt to play 3. I know extra X space is really, really tight. And I only play 1 Mechaba in the extra deck. Sometimes I wish I played 2, but I ended up cutting the second Mechaba to make room for the Neos package, and I opted to keep the 3rd Construct just because there was so many times where like, man, like the third construct won me games. So we'll see. That's just for me for now. And then 2 Winda. Don't need more than 2. Winda's a really good card in the game right now. Just being able to shut like Synchro Eldritch down, because like you can keep them from making a big board of negates. Like, yeah, they're still gonna have the Eldritch traps that you're gonna have to deal with, but being able to have Winda shut down the other plays is really, really good. 1 Al Capone to negate stuff, which is really, really good. And then to round off the fusions is 1 Mechaba, 1 Kalga, and then the Rainbow Neos. I ended up cutting the second Mechaba to make room for the Rainbow Neos. Sometimes I miss it, but honestly, like, there's been times like, oh man, I wish I had a second Mechaba. Oh wait, I can just make Anaconda and then make Rainbow Neos. This card is so good, like so good. Like, I've still won so many games with this card, it's ridiculous. And a lot of times, like, if I can go Mechaba Kalga with Avermax and a set Shaddoll Fusion, I'm probably gonna win that game. Because even if they try to out the board, outside of like evenly matched would, sucks. But if they don't evenly match me, and I have to Shaddoll Fusion into Winda, it doesn't matter, because I'll use the Link Construct's effect to get rid of my Winda to add back a Shaddoll Fusion, and then I can make like Boral Sword or whatever to try and steal the game. But that's it for the fusions, and we'll get on to the links. Don't keep that token on there this time. So for the links, 1 Cross Sheep. I ended up cutting for... So I know I told you guys I'd give you guys an updated list for whenever I went to Kansas City. I actually ended up placing like 39th in Kansas City. I went X2 or X3, and I kind of bubbled top. I lost to... man, what was the big deck at the time? Gosh darn. Man. Sorry, I'm rambling. Whatever the combo deck was at the time, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now. Ended up losing to him round 8 or 9, and then I didn't get the top because of it. And I was playing Almirage then. I ended up cutting the Almirage to make room for the Anaconda. In Master Rule 5, I feel like Almirage isn't as needed, so that's why I ended up cutting it. But so 1 Cross Sheep, best extent, like it's a really good extender. 1 Anaconda. This card sends the Neos Fusion for you, so that way you can seal games, and also you can use Shaddoll Fusion off of it and whatever, so that way if you don't open a fusion spell, you have a way to make a link to, cough cough, Mathematician. You can still fuse into making a window or whatever with this, which isn't that great, but it's not bad either. 1 Invoker of Madness, so the reason I still opt to play this is because you make the Cross Sheep first, and then you'll link into this, and then link into Link Construct, fuse with this, leaving it on field. Fuse with this to make Construct, trigger this guy to search an invocation, link these 2 off into Avermax, and then now you can make Kalga if you've already got Mechaba on the field or whatever, or if you didn't open an Alistar the Invoker, now you can still make your Kalga. So I still play him for that reason, and just a really good card. Like, I still think this card's like super good for any fusion deck. Then 1 Link Construct for the Avermax play, and like this card is just really good. Like, I didn't give it enough credit. Like, I hated this card before the new support, but with Windy and Ariel, like, being able to link into this and then make Avermax is really good, because the next turn, if I end up Shaddoll Fusioning into Winda on my opponent's turn, and you're like, oh man, I gotta link off the Winda, like, you can take away the Winda with this guy's graveyard effect to bring him back, add back an Shaddoll Fusion, or, probably an Shaddoll Fusion to your hand, and then boom, now you got a link 2 to make Boral Sword with, which is super good. And then also it's a light, so if you have Falco on the field, you Shaddoll Fusion Al Capone to negate something if you need to. I like this card now. It's pretty good. Sorry, my phone's going off. And then 1 Avermax for the Avermax combo. This card's really good. And then 1 Boral Sword. So that does it for the extra deck. If you guys wanted to play Almirage, like if you end up cutting out the Rainbow Neos package, then I would cut out the Rainbow Neos for a second Mechaba, and then you could get away with not playing Anaconda and then playing Almirage if you really wanted to, but that's not necessary. And then let's go to the side deck. I am side decking Nibiru, just because this card's just like too good right now not to play. Honestly thought about cutting the Neos package to play this stuff, because it feels like it's almost better to stop the combo as it's going on than to wait for it to set up and then try and break it after that. But against, like, Shaddoll have such a hard time against back row that I feel like main decking the Neos package is almost necessary. And then 3 Gamma Seal, just to get rid of problem cards that I don't feel like dealing with. 3 Cyclone. I took out Twin Twisters for this because Cyclone banishes the card, which is a lot better against Eldritch. I know, like, this costs 1k life, and it's only 1 removal instead of 2, like with Twin Twister. But being able to banish the card against Eldritch is just really good. And then 3 Dark Ruler No More. Combo, you know, just Dark Ruler No More them. Then I can make Rainbow Neos, spin all their crap back, and then pass, and be able to make a win on their turn, which is really, really good. And then probably the best side deck card in the game right now, in my opinion, is 3 Evenly Matched. Cards are really good against combo and back row and control. So that's why I play it, obviously. So that's it for the deck profile. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. As I said, I know this is kind of more of like a bricky version than versions I've played in the past because of the Neos package and, you know, the Gamma package. But I feel like it's almost necessary with the way the metagame's progressed at the time. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. There's a mat that we're giving away once we get to 300 subscribers that I forgot to show off at the beginning of this video. So subscribe, and hopefully you can win the mat. Later, YouTube.